Hello, hello.
Crazy.
Yeah, people here are saying, I never heard that song. I'd never heard of it before. Also, he is such an amazing songwriter. I just am blown away by it. Well, welcome everyone. I know. I feel like saying, let's have tea somewhere. Let's have tea, coffee, some cookies. I don't know. It's a glorious day, right? So I'm going to talk about something I might not have spoken about or talked about before, maybe in a different way. And that is where is the Summerland? We hear descriptions about the Summerland, and I'll just sort of repeat what's been reported by those who have crossed over and then convey that information, that description to a medium, to someone here on Earth. Do I know this is what the Summerland looks like? No, but a number of these reports have come through, so I think it's probably pretty accurate. So what we hear is that the Summerland is a glorious place, that it really is how you would want a Summerland or heaven to be. Everything is beautiful and it's right weather and there's groves of trees. And you just imagine, since you're just spirit, not just spirit, because you're spirit, fully spirit, not a physical body, your vibration has been raised. And that when you imagine something, think of it in the Summerland, it comes to be. So if you're there and you think, oh, I want a house, I want it to look like this, have 4 rooms or 20 rooms, or look this way or that way, have it up on a hill, have a long driveway, made of brick, made of wood, it appears. Now it's not physical, but it probably looks so physical that you would be astonished by it. And from what we hear, communication in the role of spirit, when you and other spirits, you meet each other, you talk to one another, you communicate, you have conversations, you have fun times with others. That communication is mind to mind, so it's instantaneous, which to me kind of scares me because you hear about people being telepathic or speaking to one another telepathically. So what it means is be careful what you think about someone else, right? What if you're up there in the Summerland and you meet up an old boss that you didn't get along with, and you see him or her and you think, oh my God, I can't believe they're here too. That's no, I won't go there. Zip it. I hope in the training you get when you go to the Summerland that the trainers, the ones that receive you, they give you some training about, okay, now, yeah, you're going to be honest here. You're going to meet everyone you liked, didn't like, had no opinion about. Behave, be loving. This is a place of love. And again, the Summerland supposedly is filled with trees with the ripest fruit you wouldn't see here. And it's filled with colors you can't even imagine, colors you don't see here. Your vision, all your senses, your psychic, I was going to say psychic senses. I think this should be a better term for that. Your true senses are so advanced that you see better, hear better, feel better, taste better. Yes, you can even eat food in the Summerland. That's what we hear. But where is the Summerland? So my ideas about that changed over the years. Maybe they have for you also. When I first joined our church, and took some mediumship classes in church and with other teachers, often you would hear, well, there's this world, the earthly realm, and the other world beyond the veil. And it always sounded like it was some really thick carpet or curtain that you can't penetrate. It's how do you get beyond the veil? But as my knowledge increased, my experiences in spiritualism and in this church, I began to feel that's not quite true. So now I feel that Summerland is here with us. And as best as I can approximate, I think I have to talk about dimensions. We on this earth plane, living on earth, physical bodies, this is our earthly dimension. The Summerland domain is interspersed with ours. We don't usually get to see it or feel it or know about it unless we attune to it. The word that struck me most often this morning of importance is awareness, which again, I think it is like the top thing to think about in terms of mediumship and knowing what's happening around the world. What is our reality? So in our physical lives, we are aware of a certain amount of things, right? Let's say you're walking down the street. So you don't see what's behind you unless, you have X-ray vision or whatever, or it's some kind of vision. You don't see what's behind you. You see somewhat to your right and left. You see mostly what's in front of you if you're walking in a straight line. And where your head is positioned and your eyes are pointing, so to speak, you have a scope, you have a boundary of what you see. So things may be happening on the ground that you're not aware of. Things may be happening up in the sky that you are aware of, that you're not aware of. You probably need one of those, was it fish eye lenses? Is that it? That sort of sees all around. But we don't have that kind of a vision. So our vision is limited. Our hearing is limited. We can hear things, fairly close to us and at a distance, but we don't hear things that are going on in the next town over or in another country around the world. We don't feel things that are happening elsewhere. We hear about them. If there's an earthquake in Afghanistan, we hear about it. We don't feel it if we're in the United States. I mean, some major events, the shockwaves do come through, like tsunamis and so forth. So our awareness is key. If we were able to see in different dimensions, I think we would see the Summerland. Perhaps our vision would open up like a curtain. Maybe our vision is the curtain, would open up and say, oh my God, there's grandpa, there's grandma, there's mom and dad, there's Uncle George, whatever. I truly feel, well, that is here. So when you hear mediums say, your loved ones are close at hand, I think that literally they are close at hand. Somehow, it's easier for them to cross the veil than it is for us, or at least meet us at a point. Maybe we meet at the veil, I don't know. Maybe we meet at a place where there is some crossing over. That's kind of mind-blowing, right? It's all happening now. It's all happening now. You're living your physical life here, you're doing things going to service, eating, meeting friends. At the same time, in another dimension, your parents who crossed over or doing whatever they're doing in the Summerland. My parents and my relatives love to play poker. They got together. Maybe they're playing poker in the Summerland. They all got together because they've all crossed now. I no longer have any aunts or uncles that are living here on this earth plane. So how do we become more aware of the Summerland? We become more aware. We open up our awareness. Some tools I'm sure you've heard is meditation. Meditation seems to put us in a state where we quiet down, we come to our center, and we allow our senses to expand, to increase. I'm sure many of you have heard of remote viewing, where mediums can project their mind to different places anywhere on the earth and see what is happening there. In a sense, mediumship is kind of like remote viewing. But we're remote viewing into the Summerland, connecting to our loved ones there. I think half the battle, I was thinking about this morning, half the battle, or maybe more of the battle is we come in this world, we go to school, our parents say things to us, our mentors or our teachers, and most people tell you when you first come into this world, there's a material world, and when you have an experience, you have to prove it in some material way. It has to be proven with some scientific way that can be demonstrated again and again. So we're all born, we have all been born up into a materialist worldview. And then you have an outsider who says, well, there's more than just the material world. There are spirits, and there's angels, and there are other beings talking to plants. So if you come into this world and are taught these things and you believe them and don't question them, your worldview, your view of reality, I would say, for all of us, is kind of narrow. Until you have that experience or you're exposed to it. Science is slowly coming around to showing us that there are other dimensions. Our world is much greater than we think it is. I remember reading one experiment where it was somebody's home and he had a lot of plants. And he left to go to work or do something. And then there was like a plant scientist inside this person's home. And he like hooked up electrodes, I guess, or some device to some of the plants.
Claude Baxter.
I'm sorry?
Claude Baxter, he invented the polygraph.
Okay. Oh, cool. Clyde Baxter. But the kicker was when the owner of the house came back to the house, the plants reacted. The plants reacted like our dogs and cats would react if we're returning home from work. They got excited. Now, if somebody told you or me this when we were 10 years old, that, oh, plants think about us, and we have a connection to plants, and they sense us when we're around, 99% of our teachers would say, I'm sorry, that's your imagination. You're talking like Disneyland or something, Disney World. But this stuff is getting to be, brought out scientifically. And they are working on devices to connect to those spirits in the Summerland. I think one device, a number of well-known personalities, that a neurosurgeon that had a near-death experience, he's part of the team. I think it's called the soul phone. I mean, I read about that years ago. I don't know what state, if they've improved it, if the results are getting better and better, but something electronic, some technology, some device actually speak to spirit in real time. I mean, there's been devices before that, of course, cruder devices, but so just to bring this sermon, this talk to a close, there are so many things that we are not aware of. Doesn't mean they're not true, they're not real. Dogs can hear certain sounds that we cannot hear. We don't have the same hearing capability. Other animals have better sight, perhaps, hawks, yes, hawks, eagles, birds. Birds of prey have much better vision than we have. Again, I read some story about some bird of prey. It was a hawk or an eagle, something. They said it could be like way, way up in their sky and see the minutest movement on the ground in a pile of leaves. And they'll see that movement, not even the mouse itself, but they'll translate it into this small creature 100 feet below me, whatever, and it dives down and it catches that mouse. I don't know if it uses infrared besides visual vision, but the world is an amazing place. Try to be aware of as much as you can. Go to a place like Camille's background, which looks beautiful. Be aware. Talk to fish, talk to birds, talk to each other. Talk to your loved ones in spirit. The more of an effort you make to communicate to your loved ones in spirit, I am sure you will hear more back from them. They want to hear from us. They want to be heard. These are spiritualist truths. They want to talk to us. They want to be heard, and we want to talk to them so they hear us and know we're here thinking about that. Let it be so. Namaste.